guys. Today I'm going to be doing my friend Rachel's hair. We are transitioning her from a peekaboo into a halo money piece. Here are my tools for the day: my wet brush, clips, foiling comb, and Framar foils. I also am going to be using my Redken balayage board. She already has blonde on the underneath and sides from her previous color, so today we will be connecting it all at the front with a bold but soft money piece. We're going for smoky purpley tones, so I'm going to be lifting her to a level 9. This is her natural color, which makes things 10 times easier because I will get a nice, healthy, even lift. I'm going to be sectioning off her front pieces. I'm connecting everything visually because she has a long curtain bang and face framing layers. If I went and sectioned off a line from her middle part down to her ear, I would have dark spots in my end result. So I'm really visualizing things and making sure when you look at her from the front, everything connects seamlessly with no random dark spots. I'm starting off by sectioning a horizontal line at the round of her head on each side. She does a slight side part and has a bit more hair on her left side, so I'm making sure this section is slightly off center to her head so the end result is even on both sides. Don't know if you've ever done a money piece or highlights or balayage on somebody with a side part and then the color ends up looking uneven. That is like the worst. But it happens because you treated it like a middle part and did the same amount of foils on each side. This creates an uneven color because the thin side will have less natural depth left out and the thick side will have more left out. So it will make it look less highlighted. So I'm taking a slightly diagonal section, just following her natural hairline. I'm going to tease it a little bit because it's right at her hairline, and I want this to be nice and soft if she pins or wears her hair back. You also might notice how tiny this section is. It is small. I could have just foiled this part in one big section rather than split it at the round of her head, but I'm doing this because whenever I do a solid money piece to the root, I like to foil so her natural part is in the middle of my section. I have noticed this technique gives a cleaner, closer to the root appearance because her part is in the middle of that foil, rather than doing a foil on each side of her part, which I find can sometimes create a more like off the root look, or if it slips, like you just really notice those edges. I hope that makes sense. If you've ever played around with a money piece placement, you'll understand what I mean by that. So I'm applying my lightener about a ½ inch away from the root, and then I feather it up to the top. This just makes it a little softer and prevents any bleeding from happening. For my lightener, I am using Wella Blondorplex with 20 volume. I'm starting with 20 because she's a natural level 6, and I'm only doing her money piece, so I want it to process at a reasonable time, but with something that's a little more powerful than a 10 wall would give, but not something that's too much like a 30, since this is still her hairline and those hairs are more delicate. I'm going to be doing a few more slices until I reach the end of my section and carry this onto the other side. Okay, now we're at the front and connecting everything together with some more slices. But first, I'm again just visually sectioning this and deciding how thick I want my money piece to be at her root. She had given me some reference photos and I just customized that to fit her natural density. So sectioning this off makes things really simple, and I know exactly how thick it will be at her root, and I'm not going to have to guess when to stop. So I'm just doing the same thing as the sides, taking slices until I reach the end of that section and feathering that lightener up into the root. Now that I've reached my last section, I'm going to be creating an off-the-root blend with some more intentional teasing and feathering. So basically, we want to tease where we want our blend to start. So my first section, I'm going to tease a few inches off of the root. Then I'm going to feather up my lightener and keep it about a ½ inch away from the root. Basically, what I'm doing is kind of graduating my foils, and each foil is going to get further off the root, and the tease is going to start further down the hair strand. This is going to create that really pretty soft graduated blend. We want a more defined money piece, but I also want it to blend and connect visually with the rest of the hair. So this technique is going to make the money piece go from skinnier at the root to thicker at the ends. My very last foil is going to be quite far down. Make sure these sections are nice and fine, since they won't be getting the heat from the scalp and will naturally process a bit slower. Here she is all foiled up, looking super cute. I have placed a towel over her head to help incubate the heat and help those last foils process quicker. Okay, here's our end result. I'm just drying it up. I pre-toned her with 07V and then glossed with 07VB, 08VB, and 07P, all in ShadesEQ by Redken. I also did a shadow root using 05N and 06NA. Since we went for a really smoky violet-y tone, I wanted to neutralize any warmth at the root and make sure it was nice and cool, but also matched her natural. And I find mixing the 05N with the 06NA creates a really nice balance. Isn't this gorgeous? Oh my gosh, we are just so obsessed with the results. I finished with my 1 1/4 inch Hot Tools iron and gave her some really bouncy, voluminous curls. I've been super into this style lately. I think we are just starting to see less straightened ends and going back to curling all the way to the ends of the hair. It gives a much more luxurious, healthy style, and I just love the way it looks in real life and photos. All right, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you learned something new from this. Let me know if you try this technique or the formula I showed you today. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free to hit that button to stay up to date on tutorials and colors I post. Also, you can follow my Instagram and Facebook page if you'd like. I will link those down below, along with all the products I used. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.